Many of us struggle with sleep. In this video, we are specifically exploring a couple of quick tools to remember the natural way to fall into deep, healing sleep using the between state process. This is very easy, very specific. It's in every tradition, and you're just going to learn the few basic steps that are going to lead you to great healing rest and good sleep.
Allow your heart to listen.
In this part of our between state, we are going to explore the actual stages of transition into that state as an experience. And this often is where we struggle at bedtime, is taking these natural steps to deep rest. They have been explored and taught in ancient traditions for a very long time. And one of my interests of yoga Nidra has taken me to looking at the way this has been taught through Buddhist lineages, through Mexican lineages, through indigenous traditions, and more. And what is common is a very beautiful way in which we just move through the layers of our physical experience, a little bit like we move through the elements. But firstly, I want to talk about trauma and stress. So not everyone feels that they have a trauma in their life to work through. For some of you, it might just be feeling quite stressed. Maybe you don't even associate with actually feeling quite stressed, but you might notice that sleep is not great, that there is a problem for you with unwinding, or maybe you fall asleep quickly, but staying asleep is really challenging. And a large part of this is to do with this learning the stages of falling asleep so that the energy field can actually allow rest and healing to take place. When we just crash out, we don't go through those stages, we're going to be reawoken by our energy field because there is an alertness, a lack of safety, something to be stressed about that we need to get out and go on and do. And if you watch the first video that I did in the Between State series, I talk about these stages of brainwave and what we drop through to access this hypnagogic state that's going to start to help you drift into a beautiful healing sleep where you get that deep rest. So why does it sit? Why does trauma or stress sit in your energy field? Well, it's a dysregulation in the nervous system, but it's also an energetic frequency where you feel comfortable. Even though it may not feel comfortable, it's a place of familiarity and therefore comfort. And so we tend to stay resonating with that field rather than shifting away from it. Our modern lifestyle does mean it's a little bit tricky for us to always connect with these natural ways where there's less light, there's less sound, there's more of a connection to nature, and we can naturally allow the body to go into these stages of relaxation before we go to sleep. So these natural stages that are what we would do if we lived in a fully natural environment without stress are going to be a part of what you're learning to remember, because your body knows it, it remembers it. It's just stuck over here going, I'm really busy, I'm vibrating a little bit off and I'm a bit crazy. And I can equate this to when I had my brain injury, my brainwave patterns were dysregulated and I was having to learn to help them find a healthier curve as they move through. So when we're in this kind of hefty shaking, it's really hard to go to a really nice, peaceful, curving, flowing energy. And that's what we're learning to transition ourselves from a more jaggedy energy into something that's got a more curvy flow to it, as a simple way of visualizing it for you. Because I don't want to stimulate your mind with more of an explanation, just understanding that this is an energetic shift. And while you're making this energetic shift to sleep, you also can place an intention for healing in your sleep. This is really powerful if you can hold that intention as you go into your drift of sleepiness. So being mindful that when you go to sleep, you might be asking for healing. It will bring up parts of the subconscious that may have yet unresolved issues. So that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have happy dreams, but they will be dreams that show you things that need healing. So it's really great to also include a journaling exercise when you wake. You barely roll out of bed, but write down what you dreamt as much as you can remember and do it backwards. If you've noticed, there are sometimes a reversing the day practice or remembering things backwards in a yoga nidra. My undoing the day has this practice in it. We're learning to remember backwards. And that's the way dreams work as well. So when we learn to remember backwards from the most recent to the furthest in the past, it actually helps unravel the psychological, emotional components of what happened. So we unravel and we undo the story, and that helps the subconscious release and start to heal whatever the story was. So writing your dreams will start to help you also with what you're unraveling and unpacking from your sleep that may be a subconscious message for you to look at and heal during your waking day. So with all this in mind, we're now going to start to work through what it is that we're going to take as a practice for a sleep meditation. I'd really love to suggest to you that before you go to sleep, you allow yourself to be in a darker space for at least 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Just lets everything start to drop and settle a little bit more inward and quietly. I would also really like to invite you to use essential oils for going to sleep. I really love something like lavender, if you like that calming, or chamomile to help you relax down. If you're needing balance, ylang-ylang can be helpful, can sometimes be a little uplifting too for some people. And two of my favorites are sandalwood and frankincense, because they can be very deepening and releasing at a spiritual level as well. They work all of our energy bodies. So those are some of my favorite essential oils, and I'll pop links below to some that you can get. So maybe sticking some essential oils on in a little aroma diffuser, preferably an electric one, so that you're not going to leave a candle burning as you fall asleep. And then come into whatever that intention is that you're seeking healing at this time. What it is that as you seek that healing might be the outcome. What would be the feeling state you'd like to move towards? Something perhaps you're not used to or that familiar with experiencing. Let's imagine that feeling. Imagine that feeling, that environment, scenario that supports that feeling that you're moving towards. And now let's call in all the support, all of the invisible and energetic connections that will weave into your dream space to help you with healing, to restore a healthy, balanced being and body. And now, as you unravel your body and self down to a resting position, just find what is comfortable for the body, where you feel support, where you're being held. Allow the body to drop into being held. As though Mother Earth uses gravity as her arms to hug and hold you. Let the body be held by Earth. Our first stage is allowing the body to rest, heavy. To feel the heaviness in the body and the support that holds that heaviness. If the mind wanders to other things, just come back to the contact points and the heaviness of the body. The support holding the body to release and become a little heavier. Feeling this heaviness, feeling it supported, feeling it laying down. And in this heavy, supported place, the breath softens. And in the softening, in the body's heaviness, the breath softens. The breath feels more shallow and light. As though the breath is whispering. A softer breath. Lightly flowing. A whisper of breath, softly moving. Gentle flow of the breath. Gent Gentle flowing of the breath. Follow the whisper of the breath. Aware its subtle, light movement. And the body temperature adjusts. Cooling. As releasing the energies of the day. sensing the subtle shift at the layer of the skin. The body temperature slightly changes, aware of the release of heat at the skin. The body cooling. Temperature of the body cooling, releasing the energy. Sensing the skin adjusting the temperature of the body. And bringing awareness to the middle of the mind, in between the ears and back, from that point between the eyebrow center. Focused in this central point. Allow whatever may begin to drift into the awareness in this space. There may be visuals of dreams, of memories or thoughts. Bringing awareness simply to this point, as though watching a sphere in the middle of the mind. Remain with awareness at this point. Hope you enjoyed this sleep meditation practice. In our next part of the Between States series, you'll be meeting Rosalia Quintana, a beautiful alchemist and coach. We're exploring profound experiences from the between state, such as near death and psychedelic journeys. Enjoy.
Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful day.